So there was a video made by this guy. He says, I'm arbitrarily cheering for the Conservative Party. The videos are works created by an individual and do not represent the official views of the party headquarters. Feel free to share the videos and images. So he just makes, you know, like memes and shit and whatever. And there have been a handful of people who have commented on it, and it's just very interesting. You can get permanent residency after working in Japan for 3 months. Please come to Japan with your entire family. Japan, I want to go. Any number is fine. Please consider it family. Family to Japan. Japan, heaven. Do whatever you want. Let's make more children. Vote. Japanese people work. Work. Overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Japan is changing shape. I guess that's one way to get the birth rate up. Shinzo Abe said, please fucking have children. What the fuck are you watching? I think it's clearly AI, but it's very funny that someone in Japan happened to make this at this point in time. Like that's funny. Japan has been dealing with immigrants for years, but the explosion of attention has really happened in the last year. People have been getting extra exhausted, which is why their right wing is growing. Yeah, there was I don't remember if I showed it on stream or if I just retweeted it, but there was something that said that, like, the Communist Party in Japan was defeated so thoroughly by their right-wing party that there's, like, some sort of question and answer thing that happens at the end of some sort of term or whatever, where, like, the leaders of the party get asked, like, certain amount of questions and they're able to respond to them. And the communists lost so many seats that they weren't even allowed to have any questions. They were just like, get fucked. There was already a meme picture like that, but this was very poll coded. Yeah. You saw that? They lost the right to ask questions of the incoming leadership by the incoming reps. That's what it was. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The Libertarian Party, New Hampshire. The Uninquirer said, New Hampshire House passes a bill banning leftist ideology, LGBTQ, critical theory, and more. If this succeeds, schools will be forced to focus on math, English, science, and history instead of the rot. And it's got a screenshot saying, New Hampshire Bulletin, House passes bill banning leftist indoctrination and LGBTQ teaching in public schools. Known as the Charlie Act, and named after the conservative activist Charlie Kirk, House Bill 1792 would prohibit schools from engaging in indoctrination of critical theories or related practices that promote division, dialectical worldviews, critical consciousness, or anti-constitutional indoctrination. The bill's title, the Countering Hate and Revolutionary Leftist Indoctrination in Education Act, forms the acronym Charlie. And I've tweeted about this a couple of times. Pretty fucking great. Thumbs up. Love to hear it. And the Libertarian Party said, it's now illegal to be gay in New Hampshire. Is this true? No. Do we want it to be true? No. Do we want progressives to believe this is true? Yeah. And this is similar to, like, there was an article I retweeted last year sometime that said the best place to live in the country is Nashua, New Hampshire, or some shit. And I was just like, for all intents and purposes, it's in New Hampshire, so that may be true, but also don't move here. There's like Wendigos and shit, right? You know, stay out of my New England area. All the other states around New Hampshire are blue. Let's keep that one free. Teach them about the dangers of communism. I love a good acronym. It is a good acronym. You can fight a Wendigo. It's like, that's a great frame, like mind to have, right? It's like, yeah, we don't want to ban being gay. We don't even think that that's bad, but we want people who hate us to believe that so that they leave. As the old saying goes, fuck off, we're full. It's very funny. New Hampshire, Maine is half blue. Maine's dealing with the same problem as Minnesota right now. So regardless of how purple Maine used to be, it's kind of fucky-wucky at the moment. So this one, federal judge again says New Hampshire must continue vehicle inspections. This was something really cool I started talking about, I think in fall last year, where it was decided that New Hampshire would no longer have vehicle inspection. It was passed, everyone was happy with it. Nobody wanted to deal with vehicle inspections. And a lot of representatives even said, I don't care what the judge says, I'm not going to enforce this. So we now have representatives, because a federal judge has now said, you cannot vote your way out of vehicle inspections. You must continue this. And Matt Drew, he's a representative for District 19 in Manchester, said, what's unique about the situation is that it is very rare for states to repeal a law. It's normal for judges to consider the constitutionality of new or existing laws and legality of actions under those laws. This judge is attempting to unilaterally reimpose a law that no longer exists at the behest of the corporation that benefited from it. I'm not sure this has ever happened before, but the absurdity of it is so great that I think it would have been newsworthy if it happened previously. Hey, Mr. Judge, inspect this! The even newer Hampshire. You're sick and tired of New Hampshire safety inspections because they're so prohibitively strict? It's really funny you say that, because anytime I've talked to someone about like any kind of safety stuff or like standards for anything, everyone's like, yeah, since New Hampshire's so lax, a lot of people just go with like Massachusetts stuff for that. What the fuck is a vehicle inspection? I only remember like emissions, but I'm assuming inspection is more than just emissions. And so you have to get your vehicle inspected, and it has to pass inspection in order for it to be street legal. And you have to have your little sticker on your window. In Jersey, you just do emissions. Yeah, we drive badly and unsafely. Same thing, really. It's just like, I've talked about a bunch of times how New Hampshire doesn't require you to have car insurance. They require you to be a responsible adult. So it's basically just saying, yeah, I have the money to pay for an accident should I cause one. And if you don't, you're probably going to be in some big fucking trouble. But they don't require you to have car insurance either. And because they don't require you to have car insurance is crazy fucking cheap in New Hampshire. You don't have to do that in Idaho either. It's pretty crazy how like when people will hear that, they'll be like, wow, that sounds so unsafe. But it actually just opens the market and you don't get charged as much money if you desire to have insurance. Emissions, making sure the car isn't falling apart, making sure the car isn't a Frankenstein monstrosity that may or may not explode. But what if you want to have a Frankenstein Mad Max car? Wouldn't car insurance being optional drive up the price because fewer people are paying into it? How? Because if you're not required to buy it, then you cannot buy it, right? It's, how do I explain this when I'm not a numbers-brained person, chat? Because, like, it makes sense to me, but how do I explain this? Like, when you're forced to buy something, it drives up the price because you have to have it, right? It's similar with health insurance. Like, you're forced to have health. I guess you're not super forced, but you're somewhat forced to have health insurance, and so the prices are, like, fucking astronomical. Limited demand drives down prices. Also fair. If you aren't required to buy it, that means that the insurance company can't artificially boost the price because of a captive market. That's a good way to put it, thank you. Prices go down because they want incentives to take up on the contracts. True. Voluntary services are cheaper than mandated ones. Yes! Registration is another way to tax your car, pet, weapon, bicycle, motorcycle, so forth. That was another weird thing. I learned that, I don't know if this is a state thing or if it's a town thing, but I learned that there are places that charge you a tax for owning a dog. I was like, thank God I am a cat person, because that's kind of nuts. Imagine getting taxed for man's best friend. That's fucking whack. Yeah, sounds Islamic. It's becoming more popular. Why is that becoming more popular? I don't understand a dog tax in general, but if I look at it from like a very strange homeowner association point of view, I can see if we start charging a tax on owning a dog, then we can keep the undesirable dog breeds out of here. The fuck HOAs? Well, I'm saying like, I don't understand a tax on dog. I don't think it should exist. That seems really fucking dumb for me. And like the only way I could understand anyone proposing to tax owning a dog is the homeowner association. We're doing this to keep the riffraff out, right? So it would be, we're doing this to keep the undesirable dog breeds out because the people who get the undesirable dog breeds won't be able to pay the tax. That's like the only rationale I can think of for even instituting a fucking dog tax. Except those undesirable dog breeds can be expensive as fuck. Are pit bulls expensive? You can literally just put that there are no pit bulls allowed. I don't think you can do that. I don't think if you're like a town or a state politician, you can just unilaterally say no pit bulls allowed in my state. I don't think you can do that. Idaho has a limit on the number of dogs you can have before you have to register. Most people ignore it. Purebred pits are expensive, yes. Civil law prevents you from banning pit bulls. That's what I thought. Connecticut taxes you for everything. Car, home, dog, income, bottles, plastic bags, you name it. It's probably taxed. Every time I think about taxes, New Hampshire always looks better than Mass to me, man. Fear of FEMA, thank you. LA County with lots of other places require pet licenses, which is a fee, thus a tax. That's insane. Your pit was $30 adoption fee, and you could have waived it, but you still paid to support the shelter. Also, Sandy, Utah got blocked from banning pit bulls. Pretty sure you could ban them. Can't see anything but the most liberal court saying you can't, given certain non-domesticated animals can be banned. As much as I hate pit bulls and, you know, total pit bull destruction, I feel like banning them and preventing people from owning them wholesale is kind of like, kind of overstepping a line. You know, like, people are free to be retarded, and they're free to have this disgusting monster of an animal instead of a dog if they desire. It's just like, if that thing attacks anyone, it should get put down immediately. And not ban them, they're inherently violent. I don't know, I feel weird about, like, banning things like that, you know? It's okay, you could be wrong about pit bulls. There are people who really don't like my take on pit bulls, but, you know? Dogs are only monsters if the owner is shit. Vehemently disagree. You got mauled as a child, you agree with Foxu? I had pit bulls kill my cats as a child, so I have a personal vendetta against them. You feel like you're missing Foxu lore on why Kirsche hates pit bulls? Wow, what a funny thing to read right after that. What you want to know, Kier, is what did pit bulls do? He's Mr. Worldwide. Well, that one's fine. He can stay. He's just a baldlet. Regardless, back to New Hampshire. This is John Stephen, executive counselor for District 4. I don't know where District 4 is. There's no town name there, so I don't know where he is. A federal judge just denied New Hampshire's motion to stay a court order that would force the state into a contract the executive council rejected. The council has existed since 1679. For 350 years, no state contract moves forward without our consent. That doesn't change because a federal judge says so. We voted 3-2 to support the Department of Safety's termination of the Gordon-Darby contract after being assured the department would reissue an RFP pending decisions by the legislature, the duly elected policy body of the state. That vote stands. Make no mistake about what this contract actually is. Gordon-Darby collects mandatory fees from every driver in New Hampshire. That's a de facto tax on every Granite Stater who owns a car. Only elected legislators can impose that burden, not federal judges and not monopoly contractors. There was no enacted policy requirement at the time of our vote. We cannot be forced into a contract that is contrary to state policy, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with that action. No current state law requires vehicle emission tests, period. What this court has done is unprecedented. A federal judge is trying to compel a sovereign state to impose a mandatory fee on its citizens against the will of its elected officials. If this stands, no state constitutional office in America is safe from federal commandeering. Any company that uses a federal court to force a de facto tax on the people of New Hampshire should not receive another dollar of state business. I will do all that I can to assure that as long as I serve on this council, that is a promise. That seems pretty interesting. I don't know what an executive council is, but apparently New Hampshire's had one since 1679. This must be something unique to them and why there's like hundreds of representatives in New Hampshire as compared to other states that have far, far less. At what point do we curtail the tyranny of judges? Which is a great question. There's been quite a few like activist judges doing weird shit. I don't know if this one's an activist or if they're just bought by whatever company wants to keep vehicle testing in order. Filthy fucking quangos, true. The judicial department is null and void unless it has constitutional basis, and the court judges should be required to support their decisions with constitution citation or be disbarred and jailed. Very interesting. Travis over here he's also a rep in New Hampshire, quoting a Boston Globe here. Boston Globe, the federal judge who ordered New Hampshire to keep its motor vehicle inspections program up and running isn't backing down. Is the New Hampshire motor vehicle inspection program really suspended? Not as far as the federal court is concerned. A judge said state leaders asked her for a stay that would foster disrespect for court orders and the rule of law, so she rejected the request. So state leaders voted to remove the tax. A federal judge says, no, you can't do that. You must continue paying this company. And then the leaders went to another judge and asked her to like just get rid of that previous judge's ruling to reinstate it. And she said, no. That fosters disrespect. That's kind of fucking wild. The federal judge who ordered New Hampshire to keep its motor vehicle inspections program up and running isn't backing down, despite outright defiance from state leaders who have been advised that their actions run the risk of incurring steep fines under the Federal Clean Air Act. Although the inspections program, which critics have long penned as cumbersome, unnecessary, and an expensive burden on motorists, was repealed last year by state lawmakers, the company that had overseen the program challenged the change in federal court. Judge Landia B. McCafferty ruled in January that the state needs approval from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency before it can sunset the annual inspection mandate. She ordered state officials to take all steps necessary to keep the program in place. The Attorney General then recommended a short-term contract extension with the company, Gordon Darby Inc., but the Executive Council rejected that extension with a 3-2 vote in early February. Those who opposed the extension criticized Gordon Darby for suing the state, and they bristled at McCafferty's authority. Which, yeah, that seems really weird, right? If the people of a state don't want a tax, and the fucking state reps of the state vote to repeal the tax, how is a company able to sue the state being like, hey, we're gonna get less money because you repealed this tax and that's a problem? How is that an okay thing to do? What the hell? That left New Hampshire without an approved vendor, and the state announced February 13th that its inspection program is suspended until further notice, while the Attorney General pursues an appeal. The state asked McCafferty to issue a stay, pausing her prior ruling, but she declined. Instead, she issued an order Wednesday that questions whether officials have done enough to maintain compliance with the law and her directives. State reps repeal a tax. Company sues the state to reinstate the tax. Judge rules on behalf of the company that yes, that should be reinstated. And then the judge issues an order that questions whether officials have done enough to maintain compliance with her directives. Who the fuck this bitch? But the reps make the law. Yeah, exactly. There is no more law. To grant a stay at this point would only result in greater confusion and foster disrespect for court orders and the rule of law, McCafferty wrote, reiterating that her preliminary injunction is still binding. Federal judges really do just be speedrunning, bringing tar and feathering back into popularity. Yep. Directives, who the hell is she? To be clear, the court does not view the inspection and maintenance program as indefinitely suspended, she wrote. The state representatives have suspended it. To be clear, the court does not view it as suspended. If the judges are able to look fucking representatives in the eyes and be like, hey, you repealed this law, but I don't believe that you repealed this law, so what I believe actually matters more than what you actually did, Mr. State Rep, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. That sparked a fresh round of indignation from some Republican officials who had pushed for the change that McCafferty temporarily blocked. Of course, an unaccountable federal judge continues to side with self-interested foreign corporations against the will of the people. New Hampshire House Majority Leader Jason Osborne said in a statement Thursday, adding that New Hampshire is done with its vehicle inspection mandate, no matter what delusion this judge is under. Based. Why can't more people just say, I don't care what you said, we're the legislators and we're gonna do it? McCafferty's ruling notes, however, that state leaders had plenty of advance warning that the timeline of their legislation to eliminate the annual testing requirement would run afoul of the Clean Air Act and risk litigation and financial penalties. New Hampshire did not heed these warnings, she wrote. Although the state filed a request with the EPA in late December seeking approval to sunset the inspection program, that was weeks after Gordon Darby filed its lawsuit. The EPA's approval process can take up to 18 months. Gordon Darby's lawyers have already nudged the court to consider imposing unspecified sanctions against the state. Can a Swedish company do that? Like, Swedish legislature could possibly put sanctions, right? Because that's like what the president does with tariffs and shit. But like, can a company do that? The company declined to comment Thursday on McCafferty's latest order, but said it is prepared to work with the state as this matter unfolds. A spokesperson for the New Hampshire Department of Justice said the state is reviewing the order to determine what steps to take next. In the meantime, the guidance from the state's February 13th announcement remains in effect, the spokesperson said. Still need safety inspection for your vehicle? It's connected to your registration. They just got rid of the sticker. As far as I know, that would not be the case. And then this Boston Globe article was retweeted by Travis. And someone said, let me get this straight though, liberal judges think that you can't make a state enforce federal immigration law, but federal vehicle inspection law, that's a different story. And I thought that was an interesting point, that it's like, hold up, wait a minute, how come everybody cries when we try to enforce immigration law, but like now, Now it's different somehow. That doesn't make any sense. And Travis said he's not 100% up to speed on the whole thing, but there's a federal law that delegates power to an administrative agency, EPA, and that power allows the EPA to make binding agreements with states. New Hampshire has done so decades back, and the federal argument is you are now abrogating that agreement. I've never seen the word abrogating. This is a coherent argument, however, the devil is in the details. The agreement has a liquidated damages clause or something analogous to it, and if you fail to uphold your end of this agreement, we, the feds, may stop giving you highway dollars. New Hampshire's stance is, yup, that clause is there, okay, we've called your bluff, stop giving us dollars. Do you have the balls to do it? The plaintiff, the private firm, and the judge are butthurt. No, that's not the spirit of the whole thing. We order you to XYZ. New Hampshire responds, signing contracts with private firms to do inspections is the constitutional authority of the New Hampshire Executive Council. You literally cannot order them to do that. You said that there are liquidated damages. Very well, enforce them. The judge has written a pissy ass-mad response, which is, yes, I don't technically have the authority to order the New Hampshire Executive Council to sign a contract, but I would have hoped that a mutual understanding of emanations and penumbras would lead you to do what I'm ordering you to do, even if I don't have the authority to order you to do it. And the New Hampshire Executive Council in the House rebuttal was basically, LOL, get fucked. And, that's kind of an attitude I would like to see more politicians have. That was the proper response. That is a funny response. Lol, Lamau, said New Hampshire. Can we just have a state law that says we can't be pulled over for non-compliance and the max penalty is a stern warning or a $1 waivable fine or something like that as we await EPA action? And Travis said, that's already been done. Malicious compliance is the best kind of compliance. That's so fucking funny. That's so funny. So Keith Ammon said, feds are forcing New Hampshire to run emissions inspections we repealed. Unconstitutional commandeering 30 plus years of SCOTUS precedent. Congress can't conscript state governments. Prince versus US, New York versus US. New Hampshire voted to repeal. Judge can't override. Federal overreach, 10th Amendment. It's nice to see more and more people say, hey, no, I don't think we're gonna do that actually. And then, as a response to the Boston Globe writing, the federal judge who ordered New Hampshire to keep its motor vehicle inspection programs up and running isn't backing down. You have Rep. Michael Granger down here, representative in the New Hampshire House. Very old-fashioned Republican Liberty Caucus. I don't know where he from, but he said, neither is New Hampshire backing down. I have no idea where she gets off thinking she can commandeer the New Hampshire state government to inflict inspections upon the people, but she's got another thing coming. Like every time I see a fucking representative say something from New Hampshire, it's always based, man. There's been a couple of weirdos that seem like they're just Democrats that move from out of state to like take a Republican seat, but you know, most of them seem pretty fucking cool. So I think that's all I have on the inspection stuff, and I thought that was pretty interesting, considering we keep complaining about all of the federal overreach when it comes to immigration. I thought this was an interesting thing from Asmon because I've said something similar previously.
And why are they like that? Because women are not the enforcers of the law. Women can never be the enforcers of the law because men are bigger, stronger, faster, and they can react faster than women can. Like, every woman's right is upheld by a man.
People have gotten mad at me for saying this before, because I guess it's just really fun to blame women for everything. But back when the feminists campaigned for Equality Act stuff, it's men who passed that. Because women didn't have power at the time. So any gains that the feminist movement originally made were because of men. Men were the ones who unleashed the horrors of feminism being enshrined in law on everyone. Yes, the feminists and the women therein are a problem, but that doesn't remove the culpability and the complicity of men who got us here.
That's the way it works. Men give women rights. If men decided that women don't have rights, then they don't have rights. How do I know that? Because every single society in the history of humankind behaves this way. So because of that, I think that genetically, or evolutionarily, there's not the same outlook that women have on rehabilitative justice that men do. Because they're not the ones that have to be accountable for if this person does something wrong.
It's the toddler ethics. It's the just treat everyone nicely.
And that's it. Science. Yeah, it's probably just science. What? See, I say this stuff. And I feel like, duh, obviously, of course. Like, what are we talking about? Of course this is true. It's going to be a clip. It's a fact. It's obviously a fact. The thing is that is there a single culture in the entire history that has ever been, at least as far as I know, let's actually make it simple. Right now, any culture that basically doesn't have men's rights, but it has women's rights, where women are controlling everything. And before you make a joke and say, oh, it's the UK, not really though, right?
South Korea kind of had that, right? Because South Korea had like a feminist shadow government controlling their president before they like arrested and tried her. That's like the only one I could even think of potentially.
No, there isn't. Every single country follows this paradigm. And the reason why it's a 100% fact is because it's biology and it happens every single time.
That was some weird death cult shit. Yeah, that was an anomaly. Like really an anomaly. That was some soap opera shit. The men still had the power over the military. Also a fair point. The men are statistically the victims of violent crime more on top of being the ones dealing with the violent crime. Well, it's also like, I don't know. I just don't understand the let's not punish criminals, let's always do rehabilitative justice kind of thing. And on that same line, hold up, I have a tab for that.
I haven't even finished breakfast and that boy ain't right.
Boys 12 through 15 charged as adults in connection with rape of 12-year-old in Overtown.
What? What the fuck?
Miami police say a group of boys took a 12-year-old girl to a community garden in the city's Overtown neighborhood as one of them raped her for 30 minutes. Authorities said Josiah Jones, 12, shoved rocks in the girl's mouth so she couldn't scream, while Nelson Nunez, 13, sexually assaulted her. A third boy, Xavier Tyson, is accused of participating as well. He was 14 at the time. While police arrested them on juvenile charges the next day, all three are now charged as adults following a grand jury indictment issued on Wednesday. Court records show they were booked into the Metro West Detention Center on Thursday, and Jonah Nunez appeared in adult bond court on Friday, where a judge ordered them held without bond. Tyson, now 15, was initially believed Friday to be solely charged as a juvenile, but Miami-Dade prosecutors confirmed that afternoon he was indicted on adult charges as well. Police said a fourth boy witnessed the incident. According to the Miami Police Department, the rape happened at the Greenhaven Project Community Garden, located at 1160 Northwest 2nd Avenue, near Frederick Douglass Elementary School. MPD arrest reports state that the young girl was leaving a friend's house in Overtown when she saw Jones, Nunez, and the two other boys in the parking lot area. According to police, Nunez grabbed the girl and took her to a couch within the garden as Jones and the other boys followed. The report states that the victim told police that Jones and Tyson held her by the arms and legs, preventing her from leaving, before Nunez started raping her. More details about the alleged assault came after a woman who heard a commotion saw the girl in the aftermath of the assault had her son call the boy who witnessed it, according to the report. Police said she heard a recounting of the incident over the phone, which she partially recorded and described the call to investigators. According to the report, the witness at the scene, after saying over the phone, "What your mama seen, it wasn't like that," recounted that the Tyson pulled down the victim's bra as the victim was yelling to stop and proceeded to play with her breasts while holding her hands. Then he said that Nunez asked one of the boys, "You think I should put it in?" and then began raping her. The victim began to yell, no, stop, it hurts," and while she was yelling, Jones put rocks inside her mouth to shut her up as the rape continued for a half hour. This is actually fucking disgusting. And anyone who would like say that these things should be charged as juveniles is just absolutely fucking insane. Like I would even say charging with adults, does Florida have the death penalty? Cause like this is not something you rehabilitate. This is not something that is rehabilitated away. I don't give a fuck what their age is, man. The woman said as she went to pick up her mail, she heard the girl screaming, "Stop, no, I'm not playing, I'm not playing." She told police, according to the report, that she went upstairs and asked who was screaming and got no response. Then she said she heard the girl's father, whom she knows, yelling his daughter's name. The victim stated that Nunez finally stopped when they heard the father calling her name, at which point Nunez, the co-defendants, and the witness all ran towards the opposite direction of the sound of the victim's father's voice. Well, yeah, if that father had seen them, he probably would have fucking killed him on the spot. Are you kidding me? A witness would eventually flag down an MPD patrol officer to report the rape, the report states. The detective interviews those involved. The boy who witnessed the crime would tell detectives, according to the report, that he did not intervene because he was outnumbered and was afraid of getting beat up. Prosecutors say that all 3 boys are facing a false imprisonment charge, while Nunez and Jones are facing sexual battery charges. Nunez is additionally facing a kidnapping charge, while Tyson is charged with lewd and lascivious molestation of a child. I don't see a rape charge though. That's kind of weird. Here's the statement from a member of the Green Haven Project. The Green Haven Project is deeply saddened by this unforeseen and unacceptable incident and stands with the victim and her family. As a community garden, our space is meant to serve the community by providing access to fresh food. Like many public community spaces, we recognize that spaces open to the public can attract both positive and negative activity. However, an opening caused by nearby construction activity created unintended access after hours, and this occurred during non-operational hours wherein the garden is normally closed and secured. Following an unauthorized intrusion into the space, we remain committed to serving the community. Why? Like, it's nice and all that they say they stand with the victim and her family, but like, they couldn't even call it horrific? It's a fucking rape. They stuffed rocks in her mouth. Like, what are we doing here, bro? We stand with the victim, but we'll defend the scum at the same time. It's like in these kinds of things, I don't really care about the ages of the people. When you do something like this to another person, and when you take the extra step to like fill their mouth so they can't scream, like, you know what you're doing. I don't think there's rehabilitation there. With lascivious molestation charges in Florida, it's a life sentence if charged as an adult, 5 years if charged as a kid. Well, it's a good thing they're at least being charged as an adult, but like, I still don't have hope that even if given a life sentence, they would actually serve it out, because just judges do not give me any faith in having actual justice for people who are victimized anymore. And I had this in my tabs for like a couple of days ago, and then I saw this. I didn't see this until like yesterday. Before everyone asks for the murder of these children, just know that if it is true, there is ample rehabilitation for children sex offenders who rape. Rehabilitation is very successful and it doesn't require incarceration. They do not need to be charged as adults. They're not adults. They are children acculturated into patriarchal violence who raped another child. Devastating and completely heartbreaking. Nah, we're not doing that. You're getting called a slur. I really hope this is like a rage bait account, because like otherwise, what the fuck? How do you come to like blaming the patriarchy for a violent rape of a young girl? Like what is this? I don't have much of an update, but we talked about the 12 and 13-year-olds that raped the like 12-year-old girl or 13-year-old girl. I can't remember her age, but I was a bunch of kids who raped that girl and like put rocks in her mouth. This is the father of one of the boys who raped the girl.
This is a 12-year-old boy we're talking about. We're gonna leave him in jail and put a life charge on a young man, a young black man that was visiting Miami. It was with the wrong 2 kids.
Marvin Jones's son, Josiah, is charged with battery and false imprisonment, charges related to the rape of a 12-year-old girl. A police report says the victim says his son, Josiah, held her down and put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming for help.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think he should be in jail. But I feel like this father would not like my opinion on where he should be. We was innocent. Yeah, I have no, like, I get it, right? Like, it's your kid and you want to fucking be there for your kid. But if your kid is a violent rapist, maybe it's time to be like, that kid ain't right. Unhinged trans rights activist Scolds New Hampshire reps Jonah Wheeler and Lisa Mazur. Recorded by Lisa Mazur.
Or cinema.
That you're coming up with
like
political.
Or a cinema.
All right, good. You're coming up with political talking points in your head.
Jonah has been pilloried by his party for protecting children and women's private spaces from gender ideology. Okay, so that's probably what it was last year. That's probably what we were covering last year.
Mansion or
Be
cinema?
going to this
You
Peterborough
don't even
Democrat
know my
committee and
politics.
speaking about you.
Good.
I know your
I
politics.
hope that you do. because the Peterborough Democratic Committee has been against me from when I first ran for office prior to my speaking up on this issue. So I hope you go to them, and I hope you will
Doctors put her daughter on cross-sex hormones at 15. What the fuck?
continue to go to them.
And I will go
and
to
if you wanted to speak
all
to me
the people all
respectfully,
over.
then we would have been able to have a conversation. But you decided to
You
come
don't
up to me
speak to me
in the middle of a
respectfully right
committee
now.
hearing.
I did not.
Diana works for the New Hampshire Department of Corrections. That's not a woman I would trust working there.
I asked you to come out to the hallway to
I
speak
would
to me.
not, because we have had
And I-
interactions before which have been
And defends placing men in women's prison. That seems like a conflict. You'll recall that another representative compared passing trans people to white passing black people in response to Wheeler's points. What the fuck? Oh, I remember they were saying something derogatory to him, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. It's been so long, man. Deport her to California. This is the kind of person that needs to believe that New Hampshire wants to get rid of gay people. Right? Just let them believe that so they move away, right?
You started getting belligerent and
No.
rude with me.
I
Yes,
said
you did.
I'm not going to come out
Yes,
here
you did.
and be attacked in this exact way, which you are attacking me, which you have done before.
You began this
The
attack
fact that your
first.
child went to school with me
It
does
has
not
nothing to
mean
do with the
that
fact
you
that
can
my
come out and
child went
attack
to
me
school with
in
you.
the
It has
hallway.
nothing to
You've
do
done it
with that.
before,
I'm
you've
sorry,
done it again, and that is
I just
the
gotta
end.
roll it.
That's all right,
I
Jeff.
just gotta complain about the noise.
I totally agree.
I am fine with the
totally
conversation.
This
but
man
if we
is
can
raising
do-
his voice and yelling at me. He's supposed to be representing.
What? You were raising your voice to him first? What is this victimizing shit? You don't speak to me like that? No, we do. You work for the government. Welcome to redressing grievances. Don't like it? Quit.
I'm all set. I'm yelling. You guys
You're
want
wrong.
I don't shame on you.
Hello, rap. Hello.
Jesus Christ. Lisa Mazur, R. Goffstown, is a quote-unquote bigot for advocating for laws banning child sex change procedures. Oh, she just like me. She get called a bigot for not wanting to mutilate children.
You bigot. Hello. Go share it with everybody.
Going on X. Are you gonna enjoy
Good,
that?
good. Oh, I love it.
Okay, great.
Because I'm not
Lisa's fighting to restore women's sports and to remove men from women's prisons.
on X because I don't care, because I don't follow bigots.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's?
Have a nice day.
Yeah, you have a nice day.
You really should
I
have
actually
some
plan to.
You should have some respect for the public. They come here to
Rep Rosemary Rung D Merrimack. How are you gonna have a last name one letter off from dung and actually choose the worst policies?
testify.
Rosemary. Did you see
Actually,
the way
my
she
name
talked?
is Rosemary.
Did you see?
Do you see the way you're
how
talking
how
to me,
he talked
threatening to
Jonah?
put me on X?
Did you see how she talked to?
Threatening to put me on X. Maybe if you weren't an unhinged psychopath, there wouldn't be a threat. I don't know, maybe.
You're representing the House.
He's your people.
You're
Why-
representing me. I'm just asking you to
representing-
respect the
I am
public.
not representing you at all, actually. I'm a Republican, and I represent the people in my town. I don't represent you. No.
She's like, you're recording me, I'm gonna record you now. She pulled out her phone with such aggression. Threatened to show exactly what you said. Yeah, exactly. Threatened to just see the things you say. We annexed Greenland and turned it into a massive asylum.
No, you pronounced that wrong, too.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Wow.
I don't think you see how you look in this interaction, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm glad he said that, because I was just about to say, like, she's the one complaining about, oh, you threatened to put me on X, but then you just look unhinged. Like, you're not being coherent, and the way that, like, you're acting is not gonna convince people to listen to you.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. That's somebody who needs meds. She needs more meds, man. That's crazy. Maybe this is me feeling internalized misandry, which I recognize was a major part of my motivation to transition, but hearing a woman weaponize this man is raising his voice to take advantage of the naturally deeper tone of a man and use it against him gives me chills. That's an actually interesting point. Because, like, he wasn't even raising his voice at her. It's just he's got a manly, deep voice, and so it's got a boom to it. Travis again saying, we must deport every Somali from the United States. And he's quote retweeting, shocking statement. In a surprise remark, Democratic representative from Maine, Deka Delac, if you guys remember, Deka Delac has been mentioned multiple times in regards to the Somalian fraud going on in Maine, the Maine Care fraud happening, stated her goal in American government is to get American taxpayers to give money to Somalia. We must pay for the people of Somalia and pay for the development of their country.
What?
Well, at least that's a little better than, not Ilhan Omar, but that other one I forget the name of, saying they in regards to the U.S. Rashida Tlaib, that's her name. Rashida Tlaib referring to the U.S. as they when she's a sitting congressperson. Deportations when? So I'll give this person the benefit of at least she's calling Somalia their country instead of my country here, right?
Policies. How can the politics in Somalia can be, resonate what we have here in the United States, the democracy that we have? How can you help us, be a better country and build back what we used to have back in long time ago? So hopefully...
build back what we used to have back in the long time ago. I don't know what kind of infrastructure Somalia used to have that has fallen into disrepair, but I don't think any kind of infrastructure that has fallen into disrepair is the responsibility of Americans to pay for in Somalia. I feel like if the Somalians would not maintain the things that you wish to rebuild, that's the Somalians' problem.
We will be able to help our country, our former country, Somalia, and policies.
Nah. Somalia wasn't too bad when it was a pair of colonies. Why can't they just stand up for themselves and fix it themselves? That's what I would like to see. Once again, even with like yoinking Maduro and yoinking Khomeini, I don't want any American involvement in rebuilding those countries. That Venezuela for Venezuelans, they can rebuild. Iran for Iranians, they can rebuild. Get denaturalized. I was like, how are there so many of these people that do not have any interests for Americans just in our politician seats? It's crazy. It says, this story is nuts. This guy, Igor Komarov, the son of a Ukrainian crime boss, was kidnapped in Bali 2 weeks ago by some people who said his dad stole a ton of money from them. They broke his legs, cut off his fingers, and tortured the hell out of him. Made him film a bunch of hostage videos disclosing how his family's business scams people. Anywho, he's dead now. Anyway, here's Nashville. Dad didn't pay the ransom. Crazy stuff. And it makes me wonder, like, there's a picture of him here with, I'm assuming, his girlfriend, Yeva Mishalova. Fuck 14th of February. Love you every day. I don't know what that means, but either way, I guess fuck Valentine's Day maybe. Either way, if his Instagram thought girlfriend was the reason he got found, that's hilarious. I'll give another hot content creator tip. When you go somewhere, take lots of pictures. Don't ever post that picture while you're still in the same area. That's bad. Pick your women wisely. Something is wrong with his tattoo. Well, it just looks bad, but it's kind of in that position where like he can wear normal t-shirts and people won't see the tattoo. It is not hilarious. What? I say it would be hilarious if this was the reason he got found. Not hilarious in like, it's funny he died, because it's not, but hilarious in that like, this woman was such low IQ that she knows she's dating a guy who is wanted by criminal bodies, and she posted their fucking location while they were still there. Like, that is a hilariously fucking retarded thing to do. Could she be a honey trap? I mean, that could be possible. I'm not gonna play this, because, like, this is kind of horrific. I didn't even watch the whole thing when I first played it, but I was like, what the fuck? This is on the run. Mystery deepens over kidnapped tourist in Bali after chilling ransom vid, as one suspect is arrested and 6 more flee. Police are hunting for a missing Ukrainian man in Bali and have arrested a suspect after human remains were discovered. Igor Komarov was allegedly abducted on February 15th while holidaying in the Indonesian island. They post the picture of the girlfriend too. Jesus fucking Christ. This is one of the rules of being military. You never post your location. Cyber training hammers that into you annually. Didn't we find out we were going through something that I, as a cartoon fox, unironically had better OPSEC than some fucking FBI dude? Like, actually fucking stupid. And she's on a list now. She's either on a list or she was a honeypot the whole time. Kidnap fear. So February 26th, mutilated human body parts discovered in Banjar Keden Kedival, which is way north Bali. February 15th, Igor Komarov was attacked while riding a motorbike on a steep road way in South Kuta. That's huge. I didn't realize Bali looked so big. I always thought it was tiny because of the map. In the days that followed, a chilling $10 million ransom video surfaced, fueling suspicions of Russian involvement. Forensic experts estimate the dismembered remains found are 3 days old. However, there's been no official confirmation the body parts belong to Komarov. DNA tests are now underway, with the Bali police working alongside the Ukrainian consulate. Officers have taken a DNA sample from Komarov's mother for comparison. 6 additional suspects linked to the alleged kidnapping have reportedly gone to ground. Police released their initials, RM, BK, AS, VN, SM, and DH. What is the point of that? And believe they are a part of a transnational criminal network. Actually fucking wild. He crime bossed too close to the sun. This group is also said to include a unit from Russia's Chechnya region. The prime suspect, identified only as CH, was detained in West Nusa Tenggara after allegedly using a fake passport to rent vehicles used in the kidnapping. Police believe a black Toyota and 2 motorcycles were involved in snatching Komarov. This, no stress, and my man. Oh my god, she was posting photos in real time. Don't do that. Don't do that! Especially don't do that if you are literally involved in a international crime boss ring. What are you doing? Why didn't he just be like, hey babe, can we post the pictures when we get back home when we're safer? Like, what am I seeing? Zero OPSEC. They say what no pussy does to a motherfucker, but I see what pussy done do to one and it's so much worse. Investigators say 4 suspects fled via Bali's international airport, while 2 are thought to remain on the island. An operation orchestrated by Interpol is now underway to locate them. Komarov had been traveling with his girlfriend, Ukrainian influencer Yia Mishalova. Authorities believe images she shared on social media during the trip may have inadvertently revealed their location. That is so fucking bad. Holy shit. There it is. Oopsie! Got my boyfriend killed in Bali! I don't even know what to say for, like, this level of retardation. Did the woman know she was dating the son of a crime boss? Maybe he never told her? She posted the pics without him knowing it? I was like, then it would be on him for being a retard, right? Because it's like, you know your girlfriend's an influencer. Tell her to wait to post pictures. I was like, if she asks why, you should just be able to be like, it wouldn't be safe. I can't talk to you about it right now. Just promise me you won't post anything until we get home, and then I'll explain everything to you, right? Like, this seems like a no-brainer. Why are humans incapable of communication? CCTV footage and GPS data later led investigators to a villa in Tabanan, where officers discovered bloodstains matching those found inside one of the rented vehicles. Detectives believe Komarov was held against his will and assaulted at the property. In the disturbing ransom footage, Komarov appears battered and bruised as he reads from a prepared statement. Pleading with his mother to hand over the money, he says, Mom, I beg you, please help me. We stole those 10 million that they're asking you for. Give them back the 10 million, please. He continues, they've already chopped off some of my limbs. My legs are broken, my ribs are broken, my rib cage is punctured. Komarov has been described by local outlets as the son of a Kramatorsk crime figure named Komar. The friend who escaped has been named Alexander Yermak Petrovsky. Why would you do this? Reportedly the son of a Dnipro-based crime boss known as Narik. Well, that guy better be in a safe location, or he's probably gonna get fucking yoinked next. What the fuck? Authorities have not yet formally confirmed the identity of the remains as investigations continue. That's a nice picture of Bali to end off this horrific article. Great job, journals. Now we know. Holy shit. Nah, you're not worth it. His mother probably. I couldn't imagine being part of like a crime syndicate and hoping my parents aren't weighing the cost-benefit analysis of paying $10 million for my safe release. Who wants to go to Bali? Imagine just being like, well, we would have given you the 10 million, but you cut off some of our son's limbs, and so he's worth less now. You'll take 4.5 million, or you get nothing. They would not release him anyway? I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, probably not. Don't fuck with Russians, especially not the Chechens. I can't pronounce their name right. No tears being shed over here. Kind of crazy to think it was his influencer girlfriend who blew his cover. Those lips look like she spent some time getting by the Chechens too.
What do you mean by that?
But yeah, she does not look depressed. Maybe she was in on it, chat. Cheeky breaky. Wait, it's the stars. No.
Stop noticing things. Noticing is bad. Noticing is very, very naughty.
This woman is not responsible for the airstrikes on Iran. Jesus, the lip filler is gross. Yeah, I don't understand the fucking puffy vulva lips going on here. That's some rough surgery, Jesus Christ. When you look at your photo from the worst place on earth, but the photographer was your boyfriend. Well, that doesn't make sense. Why would it be the worst place on earth? Well, okay, this is obviously before he got kidnapped then. So I don't think we can get mad at her if this was from before he got kidnapped, right? Can't really say that. If it was after the kidnapping, I might be more incredulous, but you know, all shit seems fine normally. Unfortunately for Igor, his girlfriend Eva Mishalova was flexing on Instagram and posting daily from the exact resort they were staying at in Bali. Yeah, that's really fucking dumb. That's incredibly fucking dumb. And also, I mean, like, not to be rude, but if you're like an international crime boss, I feel like you could probably do better, right? Like, I mean, he's kind of beat up here, but he kind of cute. Like, I don't know, man. Laura Russell, an anti-Trump LGBTQ activist, was just arrested in Texas on charges of bestiality. Multiple pets appear on her Facebook page. You have a picture of this person with a doggo. You have a mugshot. You have this person with a tiny kitten in a sock. That makes me feel very sad. I already hate this person. And then you have the charges over here in the corner. Charges, bonds, arrest, 4 charge bestiality, 2 charges of bestiality and criminal mischief. The scratches, the poor pet was trying to escape. I don't see scratches, but also, please tell me nothing happened to that kitten. After arrest on bestiality charge, Lubbock woman speaks out on social media. A 24-year-old Lubbock County woman is responding publicly after being arrested on multiple charges, including bestiality under a local warrant. According to booking information published by Lubbock County Mugshots, Laura Russell was arrested Friday, 25th, 2026. The listed charges include bestiality under a local warrant, criminal mischief between $100 and $750 under a local warrant, and public nuisance by citation. Does that mean she was doing bestiality in public? What the fuck? What the fuck? The arresting agency is listed as the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office. Shortly after the arrest information began circulating online, a social media post attributed to Russell began gaining attention. In the post, she criticizes those who believe everything the government and the law tells you. States she takes in strays and rehomes animals, and claims she volunteers at an animal shelter. The statement does not directly address the specific criminal allegations, but pushes back against public assumptions. The mention of volunteer work at an animal shelter has prompted questions from some community members about whether she currently holds any affiliation with local animal services. As of publication, there's been no official confirmation from Lubbock County Animal Services regarding any volunteer status connected to Russell. Court records detailing the status of the charges were not immediately available. All individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Which is very true, and I would like more information. What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? I would very much like to know what it was, honestly. Especially if they got, like, a public nuisance charge as well. Because, like, those two things put together make me, what the fuck was going on? WeebCon. Someone saying, what the fuck, WeebCon? Guess you can't cosplay Pippa if you're going to WeebCon. Their dress code was very funny. WeebCon is a family-friendly event. There will be minors in attendance, so please keep that in mind when considering your clothing, cosplay, and conduct. Hot take. VTuber conventions should not be family-friendly events. These should not be family-friendly events. The majority of streamers that go to these, they do majority, like, even if it's not OnlyFans or whatever, like lewd content, it's still weird to have minors around for that kind of stuff, right? Like, it's just, I don't like that. But either way, it said, there would be minors in attendance, so please keep that in mind when considering your clothing, cosplay, and conduct. No bunny and Easter-themed references allowed in costumes at the Gaylord Texan Resort and Convention Center. This is including, but not limited to, high-cut or leotard-style bunny suits. And I was like, okay. That makes sense. If you're being family friendly for some reason, it makes sense not to have those kinds of outfits. But then they said bunny ears, and I was like, what? Confetti and plastic Easter eggs. And I was like, what? Religious iconography related to Easter and Easter celebrations. What? Like, I was just getting more and more confused as the list goes on. WeebCon responded, this is a policy that is put in place by the venue, and we are respecting our partners by providing this in our dress code. Of course, everything is case by case. And I was like, that makes sense. So it's not them specifically as the convention that is doing it. There's something else going on at the same time that asked WeebCon to adhere to these guidelines for some reason. And I was like, okay, maybe they're doing some kind of like weird ass Easter event. And then a community note was later added after I had seen this. And it says the restriction is in place due to an Easter event happening at the Gaylord Resort at the same time as the con, in order to prevent con attendees from being mistaken as a part of the Easter event. I was like, okay, now the bunny ears make sense. The confetti and the plastic Easter eggs, that makes sense. Religious iconography though, that seems a little weird. That seems a little strange, even with a Easter convention thing happening at the same time. Jesus got demonetized. Wait, why would bunny suits make people confuse them as being part of an Easter event? The high cut or leotard style bunny suits are because it's family friendly and there's going to be minors there, and those are like especially lewd outfits. So like I was always on board with like, if you're going to have minors at like a VTuber con, yeah, you shouldn't have that as an outfit being allowed. I don't think minors should be allowed. And then they asked, is Pippa okay or not? And WeebCon said, yes. I would suggest having ears that are detachable in case you're on the Gaylord side of the resort and not on the WeebCon side. The Gaylord will be hosting their Easter-themed events that same weekend for non-con goers at their resort, and we're trying to ensure any hotel guest doesn't mistake Easter-themed con goers as a part of the Gaylord's Easter events taking place on the resort side of the facility. Which again makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Free my Pippa, she ain't do nothing. The Gaylord just trying to keep a pink woman down. Buy free Pippa shirts on Facebook funds. Go to commissary. Free my Pippa, man. But yeah, no, originally when I saw this and there was no context, I was like, well, what the fuck? That all seems fucked up. Except for the leotard bunny suit shit, because that makes sense if they're trying to have minors be there. But the rest of it, I was like, what the fuck? What is this? What is this?